So I guess the first thing that we'll start with is taking a look at ScreenConnect. I don't know if you're aware, but there's been a pretty big vulnerability in ScreenConnect, and ConnectWise are urging everybody to patch it as soon as possible. We'll head over and take a quick look. So ConnectWise ScreenConnect 23.9.8. This is the one that contains a fix. So anything prior to 23.9.8, so 23.9.7 for example, contain quite a big vulnerability in which I'm not going to reveal the exact details of it, but it basically just involves running the setup wizard again. You can run the setup wizard on an existing installed version of ScreenConnect and basically run through the admin setup, install some plugins, and run remote code execution through ScreenConnect plugins. That's not a vulnerability. ScreenConnect plugins are used all the time by people. Let's take a quick look at this though. Indicators of compromise. Look for malicious activity or threats. These indicators can be incorporated into your CyberSecurity monitoring platform. Huntress has done quite a good job on covering this. I'll pull that up in a minute. But the original bulletin says vulnerabilities were reported on February the 13th, 2024 through our vulnerability disclosure channel, so via the ConnectWise Trust Center. There's no evidence that these vulnerabilities have been exploited in the wild, but immediate action must be taken by on-premise partners to address the identified risks. So this only affects on-premise installations. It doesn't affect the cloud-hosted version. That's already been patched, so that is one of the advantages of using the cloud version. It gets patched pretty much immediately. This information's out all over LinkedIn at the moment, so if you've not patched by now, you really need to. So if you're not sure what ScreenConnect is, it's a remote access tool used to basically, it's for remote managing computers, and it's used by many MSPs and IT companies. So if an IT company's ScreenConnect instance was compromised, then that's pretty much all the clients as well. So yeah, if you're running on a on-premise instance of ScreenConnect and you're watching this and you haven't patched it, then I strongly suggest that you go away and you patch it. Let me put this back onto a full screen. Probably should have done that at first. So this is the first time doing a live stream, so getting used to hitting the transition button and everything's a bit meh. So if there is anyone watching, feel free to let me know if the audio is working and everything, because as I say, this is my first time. Let me just set this out full screen. Just find this push this over, make this a bit bigger, it's hard to read. So Huntress picked up on this really quickly, and they started covering it immediately and telling everybody to patch. So everybody on LinkedIn's pretty much been telling everyone to patch the systems. So on February 19th, this vulnerability information was released. It is public information now, so I imagine people are doing scans all over Sheridan for 23.97 versions of ScreenConnect and lower. But the same day, Huntress researchers worked to understand this threat and successfully recreated a proof of concept exploit demonstrating the impact. So this write-up discusses, I'll leave the links in the description below so you can check this out. So there's two vulnerabilities: authentication bypass using an alternate path or channel, so that's basically rerunning the setup wizard again, improper limitation of path name to a restricted directory. So you can obviously traverse through directories on the hosting machine. Vulnerabilities first disclosed. Oh yeah, it's got a CVSS score of 10. So you don't see many of them, and they're about as bad as it gets. So if that doesn't stress why you should patch, I don't know what will. So the authentication bypass ultimately opens the door for a second vulnerability, so which is obviously once you've authenticated, you can execute code. So there's full analysis information from Huntress on the blog on their website, so I'll leave all the links for this below. So Huntress have tested the newest version. So in the newest update, we can see there's a new check to ensure that the instance is set up before allowing users to use the setup wizard. So if it's already set up, then you're not going to be able to run the setup wizard again. So into 23.9.7, that check wasn't there, but Huntress have confirmed that in the latest version, 23.9.8, that this RCE is no longer possible. But we'll leave all the links down below. Let me change this back again. There you go. Okay, so with that in mind, let me just close the web pages so I can see what I'm doing. So when I started this channel, it was about 5 years ago, 4 years, I think 2019 I started doing it. Decided I'd take videos basically of what I was doing and what I was working on at the time, which basically allowed me to refer back to those videos. So if I needed to, I don't know, figure out how to take a laptop apart or something like that, I could just refer back to my own videos. But then I decided if I need this information, maybe somebody else does. So that's why I decided to do the channel. If you're not watching this live stream at the moment, but you get around to watching it, let me know if you find them useful. If they are, I don't mind doing it every Wednesday. I'll put a poll out. Obviously, it's going to be in Greenwich Mean Time or British time. Obviously, me being in the UK, I need to make sure I can actually get home from work and find the time to fit these streams in. Let me just check on something. Where is it? I'm just gonna mute this down for a minute. Sheridan computers. I've been doing quite a few videos recently, so I'm trying to cover what people are actually using. I use XCP-ng a lot myself for virtualization stuff. I've also started using Proxmox, so I started doing a few videos on them, releasing them. Let me just switch this back over. You can see recently I've started covering FreeBSD a lot. I do a lot of videos on, I use FreeBSD a lot, and I've been using it since around 2004, so I figured I'd start like trying to contribute back to FreeBSD. We do as a company financially donate to the FreeBSD project because we use it so much. It might be open source, it might be free, but I do believe in paying back. We do some work with the ports, very active on the forums. We push it, certainly push it a lot. So we use it, I've used it for servers, desktops. It's just a really solid operating system. And I've done a full list of a how to FreeBSD series at the moment, which is basically covers everything from installation through to boot environments. So boot environments, if you've used pfSense, you're probably familiar with boot environments. How to install graphics card drivers, I've covered that at the moment. I've covered how to install KDE as a desktop environment. I've also covered GNOME. GNOME's not a desktop I use, but you know, some people do, maybe you do. I just wanted to give the option of being able to install install GNOME. I've also, I think it was released today, the videos are scheduled, so I think I'll release the video today for how to get XFCE desktop installed on FreeBSD. Now I have a lot more videos planned. I'm going to look at doing Wi-Fi. Probably should have covered Wi-Fi first on FreeBSD, but it can be a bit awkward to do. Obviously plugging a network cable in, you get your internet connection that way on FreeBSD, but the Wi-Fi, getting the drivers installed is one thing, but the Wi-Fi stack's a little bit on the slow side. I've got like a gigabit connection at home and I can get 20 meg if I'm good through the standard FreeBSD Wi-Fi stack. So I want to look at that because there is a solution which is called Wi-Fi Box, which is a really, basically it's Linux running in a Beehive virtual machine, which passes the Wi-Fi through that way. So it's using Linux for the Wi-Fi stack. That's passed through to FreeBSD, so you can get full Wi-Fi speed. On a laptop, it can be a little bit problematic. I've noticed problems with like VLANs and stuff for networks that are segmented. So there's a problem like you manually have to specify the DHCP server, DNS servers, which can be a bit of a problem if you're trying to access a server through DNS on another network segment. It's not going to be able to find it unless you update the DNS manually. I've spoke to the author about this, and he did say to address it. He may have done already. I'm not sure I'm using it the same way as everybody else. But yeah, so we're going to look more at doing FreeBSD. I'm planning on doing a lot more videos on pfSense. Seems to be a popular topic for the channel. Them videos, in all fairness, they tend to get more watches and view time than any of the other videos. And I use pfSense myself. I use it for clients. It's a great open source firewall. We use it all the time. I'm trying to get, I recommend it to friends to throw away the BT routers and the ISP routers and replace it with pfSense. It's just much more flexible and much more options. And since I've started using pfSense, I've also started using OpenSense a lot. And that seems to be a popular topic. I didn't realise how many people actually do like OpenSense and prefer it to pfSense. So I've started using OpenSense. The more I go on it, the more videos I'm going to do in it. And so we'll start covering that a lot. There's a lot to OpenSense. PF Blocker isn't available in OpenSense, but ZenArmor is. So I'm not overly familiar with ZenArmor, but I have reached out to them and they've agreed to give me a key so I can try it and do videos on it. So we'll be covering ZenArmor a lot. Other videos I'll be covering are going to be TrueNAS. Obviously, TrueNAS is just amazing for network attached storage as a NAS system. I'm not covering Unraid. In fact, I don't know if anyone uses Unraid, but I believe they've just done license changes. I don't know what the prices are, but it was I think it was a one-off fee for an Unraid license, but I believe they're changing that now to an annual fee. So if you're using Unraid, you're going to have to pay for a license every 12 months. That's not a bad thing. I know it's the developers need paying and a lot of work goes into Unraid, so it's just something to keep in mind, but it's not something I'm really going to cover. But I am going to be covering TrueNAS a lot more. I use TrueNAS Core. I know a lot of people are having issues with TrueNAS with plugins and things like that. Now I use TrueNAS Core because it's based on FreeBSD, and I've been using FreeBSD for a long while. I think the first time I used it was, I don't know, 1998 or something. Really used FreeBSD for a long while. So that's why I use it, because I know that I can fix it easily if anything goes wrong. With TrueNAS, I mean, you can use just the base version of FreeBSD with NFS or Samba. TrueNAS is just a GUI for it. I'm saying just a GUI. It's a great GUI for using FreeBSD as a NAS system, which makes it so easy to configure. I know a few people have had problems getting Active Directory working with TrueNAS, so I'm going to cover that a bit more. I think in fact I'm looking at it now, the last time I covered it was, where is it? It's here. Last time I covered it was 2 years ago. And I know since people are still watching that video, the interface has changed a little bit. Somebody left a comment the other day saying that they're using TrueNAS Scale, but they used the same video on setting up Active Directory on TrueNAS Scale, and that worked as well. So that's something I want to plan. I plan on covering a lot more, doing some more TrueNAS Core. TrueNAS Scale. TrueNAS Scale is based on Linux, and that's kind of one of the reasons that I haven't used it. ZFS was a lot more solid on FreeBSD, but since it's gone to OpenZFS, it's pretty much on par with Linux. I know Tom Lawrence has done a lot of videos on Scale and his comparison videos and trying it, so I'll try Scale, we'll get up and running and see what happens. There's been a few comments that maybe TrueNAS Core's going away. From what I can see, it isn't. I certainly hope it doesn't, because that'd mean I'd end up having to, well, basically just use vanilla FreeBSD. I'm not switching NAS systems to Linux just because TrueNAS Core's gone over to TrueNAS Scale, or might do. I prefer FreeBSD as an operating system, so I'm going to stay with it. I don't load so TrueNAS Core runs as jails. TrueNAS Scale is, the plugins are separate on that. They're like Docker containers and things, whereas FreeBSD doesn't support Docker. I don't run Docker containers. I don't run anything on my NAS system. I want my NAS system just to do NAS. I just need it to store files. I'll be able to provide, capacity for using iSCSI to Windows machines, so that all your files are stored on your NAS. You can use NFS and store it that way. So yeah, I'm just going to stick with Core. I don't use jails. SyncThing I do use. That's probably the only jail that's on there. That didn't work, but I believe it's fixed now. I installed it on TrueNAS Core not so long ago, and that was working. As I TrueNAS Scale, the ability to run Docker plugins doesn't really do anything for me. But how it's working with we're trying to scale out the storage so you can set nodes up, that's something interesting to keep an eye on for high availability. So we'll cover more on that. I've recently done some videos on Windows 11 privacy settings, because with AI, Microsoft just seems to want to collect everything from you. So I've done a couple of videos on that recently. But yeah, so coming up, we've basically got some more FreeBSD stuff. I'm not sure whether they're doing the channel good or not. I've seen a few people like unsubscribing because I've been posting the How to FreeBSD series every week. Now I've been trying to post them on a Thursday, but I've been trying to release other types of video, not FreeBSD related, on a Tuesday. When I've got the How to FreeBSD series out of the way, I'll be looking at doing other series. I'm going to do a series on using Active Directory in Windows. Let me just take a look at something. Yeah, so I can close that. So yeah, once the How to FreeBSD series is out of the way, I'm going to be doing a series covering Active Directory. I'm going to start the Active Directory series. I'm going to start that with We'll start with installing Windows Server. Then we'll look at one of the most common things I use it for is, well, obviously we use it with clients, but we use deployment services a lot as well. So I'm going to go through and show you how to set up, how to deploy Windows over network booting devices, rather than using Ventoy or ISOs to install Windows. You can deploy it basically over the network. You can set up scripts so that once it's installed, it carries on. Installing, you can set PowerShell. So once it's installed the operating system, you can set it to run PowerShell scripts, automatically install Microsoft Office for you. Yeah, there's a lot you can do with it. So we've got to, how far in are we? We started about 9 o'clock, we're up to 9:30. So I'll wrap this up soon because I'm not getting any comments in chat or anything, so I don't even know if chat's actually working. In fact, let me just take a look at something. No, let me pop this out again. So I'm not using StreamYard or anything for doing this. Let me just change this over. So I'm not using StreamYard or anything for doing this, so I'm just using vanilla OBS. Move this back over here. The main reason for me doing this live stream today was the ScreenConnect vulnerability. I really can't stress how urgent that is that you patch it. MSPs, even though, don't get me wrong, we offer MSP services ourselves, but even though MSPs tend to look after everybody's systems and patching them, a lot of people are running old editions of software and not patching them and things like that. So anyone that's not patched ScreenConnect, as I say, basically all the clients are at risk. When I first saw the alert come through, I subscribed to the ConnectWise bulletins, amongst other things, but I saw actually saw the first alert pretty much immediately, which was from hunters shouting about it. And as soon as I seen that, I got up, and it was about 3 AM and started like patching our systems. With that, there is other ways that you can protect your ScreenConnect instance. So if you're hosting your own ScreenConnect, rather than directly exposing ScreenConnect to the internet, you can run it behind HA proxy, or even Nginx. Now, if you run it behind Nginx or HA proxy, I don't really use Nginx for reverse proxying. In fact, I've never used it for reverse proxying, but I use HA proxy a lot, especially with FreeBSD jails, because I do website development and things, so I set jails up in FreeBSD that allow me to run the different versions, so 7.4, 8.1 of PHP, and I can see what version. I can have different versions of PHP running, so I can test websites on the different versions of PHP. So that's one of the things that I use it for. But with regards to hosting your own ScreenConnect instance or anything else, you can stick HA proxy in front of it, so you can do your SSL termination on that as well. But one great thing about HA proxy is you can set up access lists. So we do it ourselves. You can set access lists up for some of the URLs in ScreenConnect. Clients don't need to be able to access them URLs. They need to be able to log in, but they don't need to be able to access the URLs for managing hosts or anything like that. So with HA proxy, you can set a blocking to deny people getting to those URLs. So that's a great thing to do. We do it. If people don't need access to certain URLs or certain functionality, just block those URLs. It's just an easy way and another step of security. If you run in, I'll give you another example. If you run in WordPress, if you run HA proxy in front of WordPress, then you can block access to URLs such as WP admin. I know you can do it through HT access files and things like that, but if you're using HA proxy, you can do it like a top level. So if you've got multiple sites running WordPress, you can. Oh, and we've got one comment, so at least I know the chat's working. Yates Network, good afternoon. Slow day today, waiting to hear back from clients. Yeah, it's been an interesting day to say the least here. This delay is a little bit strange. I'm not sure if this is actually. So yeah, it's been an interesting day all day today looking after ScreenConnect. So yeah, back to the HA proxy. Running HA proxy in front of things will allow you to just lock everything off. We have another one. This is not running for whatever reason. I'm not sure why. You got another post from you. I saw a post on Microsoft accounts and how you should not have your clients logging into them. Yeah, we don't log our clients into Microsoft accounts. They're domain joined, so there's no need for us to do that. Microsoft with Windows is getting a lot more cheeky these days, trying to. They want you to sign in for everything, basically. Sorry. Yeah, they want to sign into everything, so I don't have clients sign into local Microsoft accounts, unless they're using Azure Active Directory, of course. But yeah, it's just a pain having to sign in. In fact, I've just done a video on how to install Windows 11 without the need to install. When you're on Windows 11, one of the things it asks you to do is to set up a Microsoft account to sign in. And I've just done a video on how to get around that. It's just not something we do. So yes, thinking of let me just do this 1 second. An issue with this. Just close that. Sorry, bear with me 1 second. It's my first live stream, so trying to figure this stuff out. And the fact that I'm not using StreamYard, so I just can't pull comments up. Grab this. Grab that. Grab this URL. Come into here. It's a bit more of a pain if you're not using. Oh, that's why. Idiots. Right, we're good with that. So yeah, it's a bit more of a pain not using StreamYard. Everyone seems to use StreamYard. It seems to have some limitations on it for me. Let me see if this now works. Oh, there we go. We managed to pull the comments off. That's something that's built into StreamYard. I actually, instead of putting the, I had to set a server up to do that. It's a Google Chrome plugin that allows you to do that. But the Google Chrome plugin uses the software developers servers to be able to do this. So it sends the data of the chat across to them, that's one of the things that I like to do, is to keep my own data. So we set our own server up so that I could do this. Have a look at some of this chat. So sorry, getting used to the delay and everything is just a little bit strange. So you're correct in that I prefer Linux, but it's easier to manage to log them in due to syncing of the desktops and BitLocker. No, yeah, with Microsoft accounts, we do that for everybody, basically. Sign them into OneDrive so that all the desktops sync. Obviously, we look after a lot of clients, so many of them have a desktop and a laptop, so we set them up with OneDrive so that the desktop syncs across to the laptop and vice versa, and all the documents are there. BitLocker, again, that's another reason you can store your BitLocker keys in Active Directory. If you're using BitLocker on a laptop and you've not got a record of the key somewhere, or a desktop even, and something happens, someone has the laptop stolen, if the laptop's stolen, that's it. You've got BitLocker on it. That's one of the reasons to use it. If somebody has a problem with a laptop and you need to take the hard drive out for a reason, or even doing restoring updates, that can cause BitLocker to a prompt for BitLocker if you don't need to do anything like that. So being able to store the keys is very, very important. We use our RMM software that we use also tracks BitLocker keys, so it's a bit less of a pain for us to a pain or a hassle for us to manage, because they're all stored in our RMM tool, so we can basically just pull them straight out of that. Healthcare calls unsolicited. I hate that crap. Unsolicited calls are a problem. I have them on. I'm out all the time. People just ringing my mobile. I'm out on site. I had it today. I had a problem with driving a server. One of the drives had gone down, so I needed to. Obviously, we got backups, but it was running in a RAID configuration anyway, so I needed to get the drives replaced. And I'm getting like calls from a mobile. It happens a lot. Even my customers ring me on mobile more than they should. But yeah, I try and direct them through the office. If you ring me mobile and it's a unsolicited call, as soon as I put the phone down, I just block that call. I'll never get it again. Saying that, if you ring the office, I tend to block them as well. Actually, talking about phones, I might do some more. Might cover asterisk a lot more. So I guess people use Linux, and people obviously use Linux a lot more than they use FreeBSD. I do a lot of asterisk installations. I don't know if you're familiar with asterisk. It's similar to FreePBX. In fact, FreePBX is written on top of the core version of asterisk. It's like a GUI for it, but a lot of the modules are paid for. For example, auto provision in phones, that's a module that has to be paid for. I'm not sure if it's a one-off, or I don't really use FreePBX, so I don't see the need for it. So I'm not sure whether that's a one-off or if it's yearly fee. I know developers need paying for that, but it's quite easy to just set up a TFTP server, download the provisioning templates for the phone, whether it's Cisco, whichever phone that you're using, Yealink, just download the template and you can provision them yourself. The FreePBX, I don't like exposing things to the internet unless I have to do. But I've done a full FreeBSD series, which when I did the installation on Asterisk, it was based on FreeBSD. Now that can be applied to Linux as well. We have got someone that's heard of Asterisk. So the configuration between Linux and FreeBSD, there's another debate that always comes up. Which should you use? Should you use Linux or should you use FreeBSD? There's a couple of variations between the two. Hardware acceleration on graphics cards, a problem for FreeBSD. There's a lot of stuff that doesn't run natively on FreeBSD that does on Linux, but you can use like Linux emulators on FreeBSD to just pretty much natively run it. We do that a lot, so you can run Google Chrome, because even Google Chrome's not supported on FreeBSD. So we do that, Brave browser, things like that. But with Asterisk, the configuration's the same, other than the location of the configuration files. So if people are interested in that, I don't mind covering that a lot more. Greylog's fantastic. I've been using that for a while. I want to cover that a lot more. I did a basic installation video. I I let videos slip. I started the channel in 2019, and I've been doing I was trying to do one video a month. Then a lot of people started commenting. With anything on the internet, you get trolled a lot. But a lot of people started commenting saying they found the videos useful. So I didn't do anything for 6 months. I just kind of give up with it because I wasn't even sure if anybody was watching them. But then, hey, even though I'd not done any videos, people were still commenting on them. So around September, I decided I'd do a lot more. Now I'm trying to do one a week on FreeBSD, which is how when that series is over, it'll be one a week on something else. So the next one's going to be Active Directory. We can do videos one a week on whatever subject people find interested on. So whatever you want covering, if you leave a comment down below and let you know what you'd like to see covered, if it's something I know and I use well enough, I know it well enough, I use it all the time, I'm happy to cover it. I don't really do videos on things that I don't know how to use, or I haven't used before. If I haven't used it, it's awkward to do a video on something you haven't used. I can get used to it, and I pretty much can pick up any GUI, any firewall, even console. I can learn console commands pretty quickly, but unless I'm actually using something in production, I don't know how stable it is, whether it crashes or whether it works or not. Lymphome is not something I've heard of, to be honest. Is that a desktop phone? Soft phone for desktops, is it? I think it is, if I recall correctly. Ugh. Never have enough coffee for this. Right, so Yates Networks. Thank you very much for at least one person has shown me that the comments are working. So now I know that I can do this in future. I don't know. This will be listed obviously afterwards, so people will still be able to see the live stream. If it's useful and you want one a month, I'm happy to do one a month. They're going to have to be Wednesdays. I have a kind of a hectic schedule, so Wednesday's pretty much the only day that I can do where I'm free. So I don't mind doing them every Wednesday. I don't mind doing them once a week, once a month. I just kind of need input what people want, whether they like a live stream once a week, whether they like one once a month. In fact, I'll stick a poll on LinkedIn and ask about it. I have a lot of viewers that are in different time zones as well, so a lot of the videos, I think the majority of them are in the States. It's a Linux. It's a Lymphones for Linux. I'll have a look at that. It's not something I've used, but I don't mind playing with soft phones. As I'm saying, I won't do videos on things that I don't use. Soft phones, since I do phone systems and things, they're all based on Linux or FreeBSD. Soft phone's a good way of testing things out and making sure that you've got audio and things. Because that's a real big problem when you're setting phone systems up. You get one-way audio. There's just a million different reasons with SIP-based things. It can be a nightmare, but once it's running, I mean, we've got some phone systems that have been put in, God, 10 years ago, they're running FreeBSD, and they run fine. The only thing that we do is update them to the latest versions of FreeBSD and the latest versions of Asterisk. They're not exposed to the internet. I just don't expose anything to the internet unless I absolutely have to. Some people I did a rant today on LinkedIn that was about why it sucks to be in IT. And that was a ScreenConnect edition because of there's nothing I could have done about ScreenConnect thing. If that was found out by malicious people before it was submitted to ScreenConnect, there's nothing I could have really done to stop people getting in. Let's say HA proxy and the way we've got it would have prevented access to that URL anyway. So that's just you can't have enough. You can't think about security enough, and it's always good to have a second person, a second opinion on anything security related that you push out so people can do it, and you need to test it regularly. So securing things down. I see loads of posts on my videos about TrueNAS, or free, well, it used to be FreeNAS, TrueNAS. People seem to like exposing things to the internet. The web interfaces for pfSense, I don't see that. Don't do that. There's absolutely zero reason you need to expose your management interface to the internet. pfSense. You don't need to be able to log in publicly over the internet. Install Zero to it. You can use Zero T, you can use Tailscale. I'm not sure actually Zero T a plugin on. I can't remember, I'm sure it is. But you can use Zero T, Tailscale, WireGuard, OpenVPN. There's a million ways of remotely accessing your pfSense web interface. And with that, there's also a million ways of accessing the TrueNAS, Nextcloud, whatever you're exposing. Just use a VPN. You shouldn't open any ports if you don't need to. I've recently done, in fact, just while I'm having a look at this list, ScreenConnect is excellent when it's working properly, but I've had times where it just stops and it's frustrating. Can't get no help from them. So I've been running ScreenConnect for quite a while. We're running it on a Windows host now because the Linux version is unsupported, which was a shame, but yeah, I had to move to the Windows, start hosting it on Windows, which I don't like doing, but I can't run outdated versions of it. The Linux version of ScreenConnect, as far as I'm aware, is still available for download from ConnectWise website. The vulnerability that was exposed on the 19th. When was the 19th? Monday, was it? So the vulnerability that was exposed on the 19th, that's probably still there in the ScreenConnect, in the Linux ScreenConnect version. So yeah, I wouldn't download that and run that. Keep going back to ScreenConnect. That was what prompted me to do this live stream. As I say, it's the first one I've ever done. I just feel I needed to get an opinion on it. Put my opinion out there. Sorry, just, people need to patch, and it's urgent that you do. If you're backing your ScreenConnect instance up, which I'm sure you will, once you've done the patch, remove your old backups if it's only being used for ScreenConnect, which is, I mean, if you're running ScreenConnect in a VM or if you're running it on bare hardware, you should be using it just for ScreenConnect and not other services. And if you've took backups of them, then take a recent backup and destroy the old backups, because in future, if anything happens to that server and you decide to do a restore and you forget about this vulnerability and patch into the latest version, you're going to have a bad day. So you need to do that. You're absolutely right. Certain things should be behind the firewall and not open to the internet. Yeah, 100%. Don't expose anything to the internet if you don't need to. Sometimes you have to do, if you're running, I don't know, a mail server, for example. Yeah, don't do that. It's probably running a mail server is a pain, but I mean, mail servers, for example, they need to be have ports open to the internet. Web servers even. But even with web servers, you can put them behind Cloudflare. Cloudflare has a free tier as well, so you can put them behind Cloudflare. How might take control from enable? Sorry, I don't know. Yeah, there's a... I'm not sure how long the delay is. Well, there we go. It's not too bad, actually. I was playing with the live stream settings on YouTube before, and I tried doing it in 4K. Yeah, that didn't work too well because the delay's long between the chat. But if you're doing it 1080p, you can stick it on ultra low latency, and I think it's about 5 seconds. If you just leave it on normal settings, about 30 seconds, and that delay is really strange. Especially because I've got a TV over that side behind my camera that I'm looking at. So, yeah, I love my take control instance from enable. Take control's really good. If I'm right, that's included in the price as well, isn't it? I used to use enable before we moved to Ninja. it was, well, yeah, enable. It was SolarWinds at the time. So I'll pull that back up. So I'll take control from enable, and I also have the MSP manager. Unfortunately, my PSA connects to the billing, which makes everything so much easier to track. Yeah, this is true. So I used enable, and back when it was SolarWinds, before this enable split off onto their own company, the bills just started going through the roof. Literally, it started doubling. They just started to take the payment out automatically, and then they'd take it again, and it'd take anywhere from a month to 2 months to get the money back. So I went back and forth with the finance team, the accounts department for a while, and it didn't get resolved, so I just moved. In fact, I've had, because we had an issue with the billing, I've had some guy chasing me for the payment on that, actually, and we've been with Ninja One for about 2.5 years, 2 years or something like that. The MSP manager, is that the ticket system? I know it has tickets built in. I think that was pretty much new when it come in. I mean, I was with SolarWinds for years. Damn right, it's expensive. I've got a lower rate so you've got a lower rate due to positive history of them. Yeah, they did start low. I saw that. I moved away from them, and when I moved away, one of the team reached out to me and said, if you want to come back, we can like reduce the price, and it was about 50%. So yeah, I was like, how long? They're like, no, we can permanently give you a 50% discount. So I was like, yeah, if you can afford just to knock 50% off straight away, yeah, forget it. you can't price something and just knock 50% off. Like, oh yeah, we're stupidly high priced anyway, so we can just knock it off. To be honest, it works, and it worked that well. We used them for, we also were with them for about 6 years or something, longer, because it was before it was, I can't remember what it was before it became enable. It was something else when we was with them then. It took a December promo for MSP manager, too good not to turn down. We're using Zoho Desk prior. I've never used Zoho Desk either. Ticket wise, we use our own in-house ticket system. It is on GitHub somewhere, open source. The version we use is a bit different, but I started thinking like, yeah, I'll just release it because ticket systems seem to be stupidly expensive for what they are. It's not a hard thing to write. It doesn't get much more simple. It's literally just recording whatever's typed into a text field and stick it in a database. Obviously, you've got to do the input sanitation and stuff like that. The hardest bit for me was the SLAs. So I wrote the full SLA part of it. So we can stick clients on the system. When we stick clients on, we give them an SLA. We can stick the SLA. So at first it was like you can set the times, it's all between 9 and 5, whether the ticket's high, low, depending on what it is, whether it's a service, whether it's an incident. Then I took a client on that had different open hours, which is a bit weird. So I had to like readjust it for that. So now it supports multiple SLAs for things like that. I need to set multiple SLAs up for different sites. But yeah, you need to use something. RMMs, you can't go without them, but again, I always look at, as MSPs, are we a good thing or a bad thing for clients with, I mean, if we're sticking tools on there like RMM, if the RMM gets exposed, in fact, what's the other SolarWinds one? That did get exposed. But if your RMM gets exposed, so do your clients. If ScreenConnect gets compromised, so do your clients. That ScreenConnect vulnerability that was released on Monday, that's one of the stupidest vulnerabilities I've ever seen in my life within software. I mean, I'm a software developer. I can do C, C Sharp, PHP. Recently started doing Go, but yeah. In fact, I was thinking about this today. So we use ScreenConnect. Obviously, we've said a few times. We've used TeamViewer in the past. TeamViewer is a solid product. I've seen a lot of people slag TeamViewer off and say it doesn't work. TeamViewer is a brilliant product. A lot of people tend to abuse it and try to use the free version, which, yeah. But TeamViewer is a great product. But if they get compromised, your clients do as well. If your RMM gets compromised, your clients do as well. I guarantee you, some MSP somewhere is going to get, is going to have a bad time because they're not going to have seen the. If you're not all over LinkedIn, would you have seen that? I mean, yeah, you get the ScreenConnect bulletins through. In fact, do I recall? I can't even remember if I had an email from ConnectWise about the vulnerability. I certainly didn't see it if I did. But unless you're all over LinkedIn, would you still see it then? I have loads of security related people on LinkedIn, so I have pretty much 90% of the Huntress team. I've got like Tom Lawrence, Jason Slagle, John Ham. I've got 1 million people that are in the security industry on LinkedIn, so I picked up on it really, really quickly. As opposed to, I also monitor. So I have ConnectWise have an RSS feed, and I monitor that RSS feed, and anytime anything appears on it, it comes up in a channel on Slack, which makes my phone bleep on, alerts me that way. You just need to be on top of these things, but unless you're connected to the right people on LinkedIn, you might be on LinkedIn and you might have no security connections whatsoever. If you've got no security connections, you might not have seen the bulletins. Well, you might not have seen everybody screaming about it all over the place. If you've not seen it, how are you going to patch against it? It becomes hard. But yeah, the ScreenConnect thing started me thinking literally of VNC. Would clients be better off with you installing VNC on their machines? It's not exposed to the internet. I don't know. It's not exposed to the internet, so you can VPN into your clients and access the machines that way. It seems like a much more secure option, to be honest, than using these remote tools. Patching obviously has to be done. You can restrict that down. It gets hard. There's 1,000,001 people, especially if you're an MSP, there's 1,000,001 people trying to sell you things every day. With security stacks, you've got so we use Huntress, we use SentinelOne. There's a new product I've been looking at, Dope Security. I met them at the interface looks pretty. So I might cover that. But there's always people trying to sell you things. Threat Locker, which I don't use Threat Locker. That's kind of a weird one. I'm not even getting into that. So it does ring fencing and stuff like that, but yeah, I don't know. It's very hard, but I love my job. On the model, absolutely. I'm probably unemployable at this stage. When I started out, I've been doing IT a long time. I got my first job in IT when I was 17, 18. That's because I went to college, and just when I came out of college, I got a job in IT. But so yeah, I've been doing it a really long while. Just because I got a job doing IT, that wasn't my first introduction to it. I've been using computers for a long while. Live for IT, hello. Hello, thanks for joining us. Yeah, I've been doing IT for a long while. I mean, God, my first computer was like an Amstrad CBC 464 or something, so that shows you how old I am. I'm probably one of the only people that never used a Spectrum. I've never used one in my life. I've used Commodore 64s, obviously. Old enough to remember the Commodore 16s as well. BBC Micros, Archimedes. Yeah, I played with some old things. Kind of cut my teeth on Atari ST and Amigas, in a big way. But I was never allowed to play games as a kid. Dad always said to me, like, you can't make money playing games. Pretty sure that's a whole industry on its own, but so I was never really allowed to play computer games. I never did. So the first language I started programming in was 68,000 assembler. That's going back some years, and that was 1990s time. I was started programming 68,000 assembler on Atari ST, and then I started doing 68,000 assembler on an Amiga. Done Pascal in college. I've since obviously picked up C for playing with FreeBSD. C Sharp I use a lot for writing front ends to things. Yeah, I'm old that way. But yeah, I absolutely love my job and I love what I do. I was forced into IT, in all fairness. My family by trade are lift engineers, believe it or not. I was pushed not to go into lifts, but to go into IT. But I ended up getting pushed into kind of doing computers, and I've been doing it all my life. So it's not like having a job, it's like having a hobby that you get paid for, in all fairness. Until I started working for myself, which I've been doing for about 20 years now. Working for yourself is a pain to say the least. Everyone thinks when you say you work for yourself, flash cars, do what you want when you want. I still answer to people. I might not have a boss that I turn around to, so by the same respect, if there's any problems with anything IT related, I've got no one to turn around to and say, how'd you do that? You just kind of got to do it. So that helps. That attitude helps in the IT industry. I mean, what are you going to do if you can't do it? Go on. Are Cisco ASA firewalls still used in the enterprise? Sure they are. I'm not sure. I haven't played with one for a long while. I haven't played with Cisco ASA firewall for a long while. We don't really have any clients running Cisco firewalls. If they do, they're ones that tend to be in managed buildings and they run them. And so yeah, I'm sure there's still in use. Managed buildings are something else to get me onto. A lot of them tend to use JTEX and expose the web interface to the JTEX on a I see it all the time. We use Huntress, which is a great product, by the way. I'm literally happy to do a video talk on what stack we use. I've already mentioned we use Huntress, we use SentinelOne, amongst other things, Ninja RMM. But I'm happy to discuss what tools we use and the stack that we use, and give my opinion on them. When we tried Ninja One, I think it was going to give me a 1 month trial on it, and I was like, all right, I'll stay with SolarWinds because there's no way I can test something in a month to whether it's okay. So I got a 3 month trial and then extended it to 6 months. I still have a couple of them mainly used. Oh, okay. I still have a couple of them mainly used for NAT and DMZ servers, but thinking of an upgrade, maybe a Juniper. I've got some Junipers in stock. I think they're mainly older ones. Junipers were solid. They used to run on FreeBSD, actually. Well, the underlying operating system is FreeBSD. Not sure if that's still the case. But yeah, Junipers are solid. A lot of times, say we use pfSense if I can for a lot of things. I started looking at OpenSense. OpenSense is a great product. The user interfaces, the user interface is a lot more attractive than pfSense, but I guess that's personal preference. A lot of people, prefer pfSense interface. I think it's a bit old. Some people prefer the OpenSense interface. Yeah, it's personal preference on that, I guess. But with OpenSense, now OpenSense is it's a free product. When I say free and open source, I don't necessarily mean just because it's free, you don't pay for it. I'm a strong advocate of open source. Like I say, we use FreeBSD and I do financial contributions to them and I contribute in any way that I can, which is why I've been doing all the videos on them. Yeah, so that debate between OpenSense and pfSense. So now I started using OpenSense. I can see what people get out. It is a good product, but they tend to be a bit further behind on the updates, so it's not something I'd stick in a production environment, to be honest. I can't remember what the recent issue was. That I had, but it hadn't been patched, and I was like, is somebody going to patch this? I can't remember what it was now, but yeah, so that's not something that we can have. The problem is license, especially if you want some web filtering and content filtering. I get licensing when it comes to web filtering and content filtering, because that stuff is a pain to keep on top of. Somebody needs to be paid to update the websites, categorize them. A lot of people use, I can't remember who the SolarWinds one is. Can't remember what that's based on. Because SolarWinds, if you're using Enable, they have a web filtering product. Well, they did at the time. I can't remember who that is that they use. Oh, it's WebRoot. So the Enable web filtering product is based on WebRoot. That's WebRoot's web filtering. But yeah, somebody needs to be paid to categorize websites, and that'd be a nightmare of a job. It's not a job I'd want to have. Web filtering in pfSense is non-existent. I'm not sure if Squid's been removed yet, but it's been abandoned, Squid, so if it hasn't been removed from pfSense yet, it will be, which is one thing. They've got PF Blocker, which is a great product, by the way. You can load your lists into that. So I think of who does that. Not Craigslist, it's like Steve List or something. But yeah, they need paying for. I purchased some FortiGate and Sophos firewall with license. They are a great product. Sophos, yeah. FortiGate, I'm not a fan of. I've not used them for a long while. They seem to get vulnerability after vulnerability. Yeah, I'm not a fan of FortiGate, to be honest. Hey, when they're working, they're great, but the vulnerability side of things, babysitting's a job in itself. I mean, yeah, you should keep things patched and up to date anyway. I don't even know I can't remember how the notifications go about. Do they email you if something happens? Sophos is great. Yeah, Sophos is a great firewall. It's got a really interesting interface. I might actually cover them. I'm sure this stuff is not healthy. But yeah, I'm not bashing on FortiGate. It's just Yeah. We used to, as an IT shop, we used to use Zyzel products, and I mean a lot. We threw them out to clients everywhere. Then they literally built a back door into the firmware. So after that, I pulled literally every single Zyzel product we had from any client anywhere, because vulnerabilities in firmware is one thing. Building back doors into your firmware that's just stupid. That's absolutely ridiculous, and there's no excuse for it. So we pulled every single Zyzel product that we had in production. Now since I've done that, in all fairness, they've had a lot of vulnerabilities and things. So, hey, don't get me wrong. I mean, I used it to the stage of I was a ZCNA, Zyzel Certified Network Engineer. I did the Zyzel training and stuff, attended the events. We pushed it a lot. But the backdoor thing, yeah, that was it. I still get them trying to call me now, and I'm just not interested in any way whatsoever. Recently, I took up the Unified Firewall, UDM Pro. I guess it's also good and easy to use. I love Unify stuff. There's Meraki, which is kind of king of Wi-Fi product, but they have licensing costs with it as well. Unify, I've never used a UDM Pro in my life. When it came out, it was very restricted on what you could do. I believe it's changed a lot. Only from my understanding from Tom Lawrence covers that stuff a lot, so only from my understanding from him. But I've never used the UDM Pro. But yeah, I believe it's changed a lot. He seems to have nothing but good things to say about them these days. Yeah, it's just, I don't know, maybe I'll try one if I get my hands on one. Most of the tech channels are based in the States, so like Unify, since most of the manufacturers for computer products are based in the States, they'll get things sent across to them to try out. Fortunately, being in the UK, I don't know how many UK IT people are in the UK running YouTube channels. I'm not that familiar with many, but it's awkward getting all of Unify stuff over here. We do a lot of Unify installations. We even used to push Unify MVRs out. Wasn't impressed when they killed them off, because the Unify MVR used to run on Linux. Then they killed it off for the Unify Protect, and we had to start looking for alternative solutions, because that was terrible. I mean, it was great if you was in a house and you only needed 3 or 4 cameras. I've seen people try to hook 16 cameras up to them. Yeah, they certainly won't take that many. They just overheat and die. But yeah, since we've replaced a lot of, we've installed a few MVRs now, the new Unify Protect MVRs. They're solid products. I go with clients at the end of the day and what they prefer, and everyone seems to prefer the Unify CCTV interface. It's just simple and it works. What project are you working on these days? Wow. So I do a lot of website work for people. So I've got a couple of websites on at the moment. To be honest, with Microsoft being Microsoft and the amazing things that they've done with Windows 11, at the moment we've been going a lot through upgrading kit for clients, because a lot of clients have got some kit that just won't run Windows 11. Oh, it will. Not in an official capacity, so it's not something obviously I'd do for clients. Installing any type of operating system on unsupported hardware. So that's one thing that we're doing at the moment. Is it October 2025? Windows 10 goes end of life. So we've got some clients that have got hundreds of machines, and at the moment we've got many of them. I couldn't handle it if somebody come to me and said, "Yeah, we need 500 new machines right now." It'd be a bit much for me to take on, but so we're slowly doing it and rolling that out into clients, give them a list of what hardware they've got at the moment, and say, right, these are the machines with processors in them that are pre-8th gen, so they won't take Windows 11, or they don't have a TPM that's supported. So that's one of the main things I'm doing at the moment. Have I mentioned that to patch ScreenConnect? There's another thing. No, that's one of the worst. Being in IT, a lot of people think like they pay whatever they do, but they just think that what they pay for is when they're on the machines and things like that. We are constantly patching systems and things. But yeah, at the moment, I'm just trying to work more on building things up, doing the YouTube stuff a bit more. You'd think being an IT guy doing a YouTube channel is easy. It's very, very time consuming, especially when you own a business. Never mind just working in a business and trying to run a YouTube channel, because I know some people that do that. But owning a business and trying to do it and trying to fit that in, obviously, as well as spend time with family, it gets a bit much. So yeah, got a lad on at the moment trying to do the YouTube stuff. So you'd think being an IT guy is easy to deal with. It's not, to be honest. I can fix computers. I know a lot about software and what to use. One of the things I never knew much about, by much I mean anything, was video editing. Never had a clue about video editing. So that was one thing that I had to do. I mean, when I first started doing it, it was about, I got a Logitech C920 webcam and a crappy microphone, and figured, right, I can go and start doing videos. And then, yeah, people started complaining. The internet's full of trolls. People started complaining, saying that your sound's really, really bad. So I give up for a bit, and then I went out and bought a Blue Yeti microphone, which is absolutely amazing. They're really, really good. It's not what I'm using at the moment. I'm using a Rode NCG at the moment, which is a shotgun microphone. If you're using a Blue Yeti, they have to be right in front of you. So yeah, so I changed that. But even changing microphone's not good enough. Trying to drown sound out around you when you've got servers and things running is hard work. So learning how to use filters, and I've tried Audacity. I've tried everything to get the background noise out of the videos. Then the C920 webcams just got the angle on it is like huge. So using the C920, you could like see across the street and everything. But it does 1920, 1080, and I did that, and that worked. It did its job, in all fairness, and it was my fault with the sound and not actually realising, not knowing how to make it sound better. That was more of a problem. 4 years on, I'm still playing with sound and making sure I'm getting it right. But recently, from the subscriptions, obviously I get paid for in AdSense from YouTube. It's a small amount. It's about 80 quid a month. It's nothing. So all the videos that I do, when I get 80 quid a month from that. But I have got clients out of it as well, which is obviously a good thing. It's just hard. So I've upgraded the microphones, upgraded the camera. Just wanted to go 4K with that, because when I was watching on TV at home, TV's obviously watching it on a bigger TV, some of the text was a bit blurred, and I just wanted to try and make it right. So the 80 quid a month that I was getting through, don't get me wrong, it was about 20 quid a month 12 months ago. But the 80 quid a month, I've just been putting it away, and then I use it to get a camera. Use it to get this key light over there. I can't even look in that direction. Got a number on key light. Sony, what is it? I've got a Sony camera. I can't remember which one it is. ZVE10 or something like that. Me too. I find it too hard to make a YouTube video and finding not much views. See, I appreciate that. When I started doing YouTube videos, they was getting no views. Unless you do about 100 videos, you're not going to get that many views. Nobody's really going to pay attention to your first. Sorry, that was me watching videos on YouTube marketing and things. Yeah, it was Mr. Beast when it said nobody's going to watch your first 100 videos, and probably nobody watching the next 100 either. It's hard. You have to be consistent, to be honest. If you was doing the YouTube stuff, I'd say do a video at least once a month, but be consistent about it. If you do one, like one month and then you leave it 2 months, and the YouTube's just a bit weird like that. You just have to keep doing it. I started hitting it hard in September, October. I just decided, you know what, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to have a go at you doing a YouTube channel. I'll do one video a month. And then come January, I set myself, I'm going to do 2 a month. But I think I've done like 10 this month, and tending to do like 2 a week, maybe 3 a week sometimes. It just depends what's going on at the time. But yeah, you just need to keep doing it. And the more you keep doing it, let's say I've been doing it 5 years, 2019, so yeah, I've been doing it for a while now, and you're just getting the views. I've been doing it for a while now, and you're just getting the views, so I hit it hard. So it's hard doing 1 video a week, never mind 2 or 3. The FreeBSD ones gave me an advantage because I could do 1 video where I did the installation, then I did boot environment, then I did graphics card installations, then I installed KDE, GNOME, XFCE. Pretty much did that all in 1 video over a couple of and then just broke it up and released them separately to give me some time, a break from it. You can easily burn yourself out if you're just doing it non-stop, so giving yourself if you've got like a video schedule, like say a week in hand or 2 weeks in hand or 3 weeks, it just gives you a lot of time to yourself that you can spend with your family, or I don't know, playing football, swimming, whatever you want to do. But it just gets a bit much. Are you located in the UK? Yes, I am. It's what I was saying before. I'm not sure how many UK YouTubers there are that do tech. Most of them tend to do reviews and things. I've unboxed a couple of things. In fact, where is it? I had a Sony ZVE10 that I decided to replace that C920 with a Sony ZVE10. I've got another one lying around somewhere. You can get them off YouTube for like the camera's about 700 quid, but you can get them off YouTube for 150 quid a month. So that's kind of what I was using the YouTube money for. But yeah, I'm based in Manchester. David Bumble, great YouTube guy. Yeah, he is. Absolutely. Yeah, following on LinkedIn, I see his videos all the time. He's posting them constantly. Doing the shorts. He covers some great subjects as well. Again, Network Chuck does stuff. He's US in it. David Bumble, is it? I'm not sure where he's from. Is he UK? He's not, is he? I've seen a couple of his videos. Yeah, a lot of people do product unboxing and things like that. It's not really I don't know. Maybe that should be a thing. I can't sit there and unboxing products and giving opinions on things I've not used. It's just not me. But yeah, a lot of people just do product reviews. Mainly because they get paid a lot for doing it. You get like thousands of pounds a month for doing product reviews and things. with sponsors. If you've got a popular enough channel, people will sponsor you and throw money at you. The only thing I've had is I had one VPN company reach out to me. I'm not mentioning who it is, but I'm not endorsing any VPN products whatsoever. In fact, that's a good start for a video. I'm going to keep that in mind. I'm going to do one showing use Volta, Cloudflare, stick a FreeBSD or Linux instance up, install WireGuard on it or Tailscale, use your own VPN. This is the safest thing to do, to be honest. If you're using Node, PIA or whatever, you just kind of kicking the can up the road for who can access your data. Just to know the download upload speed in your location. The connection at the moment is 100 meg up and down, but it's it's throttled at that, so it's 100 meg up and down here. Internet speeds in the UK, they are weird. At home I was on an average of a 4 meg upload. Oh no, 4 meg download, sorry. Like less than a meg upload. God, for 10 years. The house was new when we got it, so it was like 10 years, and then eventually BT Fibre came out, so I went on BT Fibre, and so I guess it's fibre, and I'm on a lease line here. I've got fibre at home. I've got 1 gig fibre at home, so yeah, it's really bad in the UK. I'm in Manchester, so some of the places for getting internet is absolutely terrible. We've got clients that are still on like ADSL because they can't get a decent internet connection, and you're talking like 8 meg. Some of them are worse than that. It's really bad. I was in Wales. That's a bad place for internet. Isolated place in Wales. Just couldn't get internet at all. I was using my mobile phone as a hotspot, and then I decided to get mobile broadband. That didn't work too well either, and kept dying. And I wanted the option to be able to kind of do the YouTube stuff from there as well, just rather than being here all the time. So I got Starlink, and I'd never heard of Starlink. I'd heard of it, obviously, but I've never tried it. That was a game changer. It was £75 a month. A download speed, you get around 200 meg download. Can't remember what the upload is. I think the upload's like, I don't know, maybe 50 or something. I can't remember off the top of my head. We get loads of people ringing up about that as well, trying to sell us faster internet connections. In fact, I did have BT ring about that. Was it BT? I think so, yeah. Oh no, it went a sales call. It weren't BT either. It was some Wi-Fi internet provider telling me that. Oh, it was BT. It was a BT guy telling me that over Wi-Fi you can't make SIP calls and things like that. Oh, really? I do it all the time. Got VPN set up and phones linked to remote locations over Wi-Fi, and he's like, yeah, but the latency is going to be too much. No, works fine. Starlink's amazing. Is it pricey at 75 quid a month? It is, but if you've got no alternative to what to use, then yeah, it's a game changer that way. We're in 10:30. What time did I start this? 9 o'clock. Yeah, 9 p.m. I expected this stream to be over by 9:10 when I started, in all fairness. Move this over here. Is the sound clear enough, by the way? I'm assuming so. Yeah, I expected this to be over by 9:10. I didn't expect anyone to show up. And I was like, I had to schedule this live stream a couple of weeks ago. Was it a week ago? 2 weeks ago? My ass fell out a bit. I was like, meh, what are you gonna do? Sit there and say hello to yourself? My wife's like, you talk to yourself a lot, so maybe that's not a problem. Any news about Microtik? Not here for a long time. Are they still any good? Yeah. We use Microtik products. In fact, there's a 10 gig Microtik router set over there. Yeah, Microtik products are they're still in use. They're used a lot by. We have a lot of clients in hospitality industry, and they use the. So when you go into like a restaurant or a bar, and you jump on the Wi-Fi, and you've got to sign in with Facebook. What's it called? Like purple Wi-Fi or something. One of the ones that we bump into, but they use the. They tend to use the cheapest Microtik routers that you can get, like 100 meg things. But yeah, Microtik definitely still in use. If you're ever looking at jumping up to 10 gig, we've got 10 gig Unify switches in here, but I mean, if you're jumping up to, they're really cheap. Yeah, Microtik's solid stuff. Sounds pretty. Thanks for your answers. Sounds pretty good. And video also. Yeah, thanks for confirming. I'm glad it got the thing working, so when people ask questions, I can actually bring them up. Makes it easy because I've got the TV in front of me. I'm trying to watch it on. But yeah, so yeah, they're solid. A lot of people don't like Microtik. I wouldn't say don't like them. Don't use them because of the way they're configured. There's a lot that can go into configuring Microtik. I'm not the best in the world on them. I can use them. But yeah, I'm not the best in the world on them. Just because I've not spent enough time, really. I tend to use Unify stuff for most of the things to allow clients to manage them. Even in the office, because I don't know, it's just easier. Saying Unify. Got a split of Cisco and Unify here. The Unify stuff's easy to manage to log into. Just to log into the controller, as we all start on controller, so you can just log into the controller and set your VLANs up and everything like that. The Cisco switches. The web UI on them is, I won't say it's hard to use. It's easy for me. Some staff find it hard, but they don't use the CLI or anything. But the stacked Cisco switches, yeah, they have a web interface on them. It's just when you log into Unify and you log into Cisco, the interface is night and day. In fact, it's that good. I think is it TP-Link that's just copied the interface. It's TP-Link Armada that are trying to do. Is it Armada? They're pretty much trying to do the take on copying the Unify stuff. The Unify is solid. Unify is one of those products where every time I come across Facebook groups or LinkedIn groups, people slag it off and say it's not professional equipment. I can count the number of failed devices we've had on one hand. Yeah, that TV's about to go off. No action power down feature, switch the TV to standby. Bye bye TV. In fact, give me 1 second. This is ridiculous. Yeah, TV died. I don't own a remote for it, so that could be a bit of an issue. Let me turn it back on. Right, note to self, need a buy a remote off Amazon or something for that TV because I don't have one. I can't remember what I was waffling on about then, can't have been that much important. I have a small Cisco ASA 5505 at home, still work good, but have to struggle to keep ASDM working with the new Mac. M1. I keep looking at the Mac M1s, to be honest. Battery life on them is pretty amazing. I know a couple of people who've got them. They're light and powerful. The problem with a lot of the old is, I know a lot of companies that do Cisco stuff, refurbished Cisco stuff. A lot of the old stuff you can't get patched. But I mean, you can pick Cisco equipment up really, really cheap these days. Older Cisco equipment. But if it's end of life and it's not got patches, it can have, I'm saying, vulnerabilities. If it's, firewalls are one thing, but switches and things, if they're not exposed to the internet, well, they won't be. That's something you've got to weigh up if you want to take the risk with switches having issues and not being updated anymore. I tend to, like, as soon as something's not supported, we start throwing it out. Don't get me wrong, I've got some older equipment knocking around here. I don't buy new things for myself just for the sake of it. That's all, pretty much. A lot of old equipment's fine, if you know what you're doing with it. This coffee's cold. Okay, thanks. Have a good night. I have to go. It's kind of late here. Yeah, feel free to, I don't know, mention that next time you're around, what time you'd like them at. So I'm going to do these streams on a Wednesday. It's late for me. Obviously it's 10:30, so my wife's probably wondering where I am. In fact, she prefers it when I'm not in the house. But I'm going to do some, if this gets good enough feedback, I'll do some more. Say whether they're weekly, monthly. And my options are, I can do them anytime between 7 and 9. So I'm thinking 7:30 might be a good time to do them, from, I don't know, 7:30 till 8:30, 9:30. 7 till 9, I don't know. I'll take input on that on what's the best to do. But yes, thank you for joining us and thank you for coming. I am about to wind this down because I didn't realise it got so late. As I say, I expected this stream to last literally about 10 minutes. I bottled the last one, so I forced myself to do this one to see what would happen. Even if one person turns up, it gives you something to break it down with. Somebody bringing up different topics, different subjects. So yeah, thank you for both of you that interacted with the chat today. Really appreciate that. But with this, I am going to wind it down. As I say, just let me know below if the stream was, I don't know, if you found it useful, and if you prefer a specific time. I am trying to cater for both time zones. But yeah, I'm going to wind this down. Thank you. I forgot how to stop it.